Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Making Sense with Dr. Stacy. I am Dr. Stacy Betancourt, PhD in social human behaviors, for those of you who did not already know that. So, for those of you joining us again, welcome back. For those of you who are new to the podcast, well, it's not really a podcast, is it? Well, to my presentation, whatever it is. Welcome. I want to talk to you today about something a little more deep, if you would. And what I'm going to talk to you about today is the idea of divorce. Not a good place, right? You hear that and you're like, oh, well, let's approach it a little bit differently because it is something that affects many, many people across the globe. And learning how to maybe approach it with fidelity and kindness and maybe a more openness might help. I don't know. So let's talk about it a little bit. So, the one thing I want to say is if you are in the middle of a very painful divorce and this is something you might want to take in segments, you feel is healthy. If you have been hurt by divorce and you're not ready to hear about it or even think about the concept, please, you do what you feel is where your comfort is. If you need help in a divorce, I want to encourage you to seek help, if not from me, as far as being a divorce coach, a divorce recovery coach, which we'll talk about. I'm also specialized in certified in mediation and arbitration. These are things that can help you. I'm not saying hire me. What I am saying is that if not me, please seek out the help of professionals who have experience in what they're doing. Not everyone can call themselves a divorce professional. It takes a lot of work, a lot of experience, and a lot of time and study and research, which I have done. So if not me, someone else, but I will put my information in the comments. I also want to talk to those of you who may be heading into divorce and you are part of a toxic marriage, or even more so, an abusive marriage. Okay, you need to seek help, and not just an attorney, absolutely an attorney, but you want to look at an attorney who has specialized in domestic violence or other toxic marriages. I will put some comments into some information in the comment section for you. Please look them up. If you have any questions, if you have any confusion, you can always email me. And if I can't directly help you, I will help you find the resources you need. Okay. So just understand help is there for you, and I want to make sure you get it. Okay. So let's talk about divorce. And the reason why I'm talking about this now is that we are in a season that is not very comfortable, and some people do have a problem with the term, but we are in divorce season. And what I mean by that is that fourth quarter of the previous year has ended. You've gotten through as the divorcing individual or individuals, depending on whether or not your soon to be former spouse is on board with this, however you're approaching it, because divorce, let's face it, there are many couples that are going through divorces that at the onset had no idea that their spouse felt this way. And there are some families out there are spouses who are being served divorce decrees and they had no idea it was coming. So there's a lot of different ways to look at this, and there's a lot of different ways to handle it. I am of the advocate that if your marriage is not working, you need to talk to your spouse. As hard as that is, you need to talk to your spouse, because nobody should ever get that knock on the door with a process server being served divorce papers. And I know clients that that has happened to. And my take on that is this. At one point in your life together, whether it was love or passion, and sometimes people mistake them, and that could explain a lot. But no matter what positive emotions you felt for the spouse at one point in your life together, please honor that. Okay? Honor that. It's not working now, and that's okay. For you, it's not. But understand that there is a spouse who may feel differently and may not know where you're at emotionally and mentally and physically. So I'm not going to get into the finance of that because that can get very convoluted and very misplaced. So let's talk about this. And sorry, the dryer just went off. It's bound to happen. So let's talk about it. Okay, so divorce season. Okay, fourth quarter ends, new year starts, and the time has come. Well, I'm hoping again that you have those tough conversations. And if you're kind of in that situation where, how do I tell them? What do I do? How do I tell them this? That I don't want to be in their lives anymore? Not that way. Seek the help of a divorce professional. It can help you and it can help your spouse. And you need to think about that. Okay. Especially if there's children involved. Okay. And this is definitely something, if there are children involved, you need to be so open and honest with your spouse, because that spouse needs to understand what's changed. And if you're not even able to identify that, that's where a divorce professional can come in and help. Now, the thing is that everyone's journey is different, and we've talked about that. The same applies in a marriage. Everybody's marriage is different. Everybody's marriage has a different connection. It has a different dynamic. And the thing is that we cannot judge what someone else's marriage looks like. In your opinion, it should look like. It doesn't work that way. I've had situations where family members enter into the picture to provide their feedback, opinions, and that can make a lot of trouble. So here's the thing. In the beginning of your marriage breakup, try not to talk to many people unless they're professionals. If you have a deeply trusted friend who was not going to either go positive or negative, and I think you know what I mean by that, try to talk you out of it or pop out the bottle of champagne too soon, it can be very hard. And not only that, but that can help to foster a negative impression within the people themselves. The last thing you want to do is, and again, it's your choice, but just hear me out. Nothing is worse or more disrespectful to a love that you once had than by kind of rubbing it in their face that you've hurt them, right? That is even more so when you have children. Please, parents, if you are considering a divorce, if you are in the process of a divorce, if you and your soon-to-be former spouse cannot agree, get a divorce professional, because you do not want to create a toxic environment based on your behavior as the parent or the spouse. I myself, as a child, was exposed to a very, very toxic parent relationship, both from my mother's side and my father's side. And they both had things to say negatively about each other. Well, that gets back to the kids. And there are things that are said in anger and frustration that should never be said. And once you say them, no amount of apology is ever going to change it. Okay. So in those cases, you have one opportunity to get it right, and that's keeping your mouth shut. It's hard. It's hard, especially when games are being played with the children as the pawns. Okay. And I'm giving a lot of generalities in this segment. I know the problem is that keeping these short so that you can watch them is really important. And if you need further help, you know how to reach me, and I will be giving some additions here to this. The thing is I have said divorce professional many times through this video, and I really encourage you to do so, because I have seen the ramifications of what can happen and otherwise. And thinking about this as a triangle. Okay, so visualize the triangle. All right. In a divorce situation, you have many triangles. You have you, your former spouse, and your child or children. You also have the same triangle when you think about the love you used to have for each other. Okay. And that breaks apart, right? The triangle can be a very powerful tool to think about. And having that respect for each other will make a much healthier ending to your divorce. And no matter what you do, seek the help of a divorce recovery coach, because divorce recovery coaches, as myself, I have coached people on how to break down recipes that you're used to cooking for a big family. That's changed. I have helped clients learn how to rebudget, refinance, reorganize their own finances, what life looks like after the divorce. And I'm going to kind of each week for the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about a couple of things. And if you have suggestions, let me know. And I will definitely integrate them into the series. It's really important that we try at all costs to be kind to each other. If it is that hard and there is so much anger and hurt in a divorce situation, you really need to have that professional person. It's not that a friend can't do it, but a friend is too close, and that can become hard. So by using a divorce professional, what you are doing is you are creating a relationship with them that creates a bridge that can be shared so that you can always be your best self. And like I've told you before, be your best self. Be good to yourself, be good to others, especially in a divorce. Next week, I will have a different segment on divorce, and I will be reporting from a hotel room because I will be doing a half marathon next weekend. So that should be interesting. But in the meantime, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to each other. If you have any questions or problems, please reach out in the comments. If you'd like to email me privately, I always put my practice website where my practice is, where you can reach me through there. Remember to be kind, and comments will be down below. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week.